Town of East Troy for March. Let the record show that the full board is in attendance. Before we start the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All the closings in order for tonight's meeting.
Yes, they are.
Okay, on the agenda, anybody, what are problem with the agenda?
I would like to, mark 10A for town logo project. We need to have, the high school teacher contact them because we can't have a compatible, I can't print.
Okay, so delete.
Yes, 10A, delete or postpone until next one.
Anything else? No? Any motion there?
I mean, that we approved the agenda as amended.
All right, motion to approve the agenda was published with the one. Okay, this is why the parking lot's full, because this is, almost the last meeting for Clay Montez after 28 years of service to the town. It's been a great run, and I got a couple things here I want to say, but I think if you could kind of stand up there by the flag. Okay.
Tell the truth.
This is honestly the truth. Again, Clay, 28 years at the town, worked as chairman and a supervisor. Been a model for all of us. His professionalism, his demeanor, and how he took care of business all these years. And he was one of my mentors, as well as Bob Miller. But Clay longer, because the entire time I've been on the board, Clay has been on the board also. And but you know, you talk about being busy and what's going on here, a lot of action. Years back, when Clay was almost, I would say you were working here full time. I mean, he took care of the boundary agreement with McWanago. We had a new landfill sited in our town. We had an old landfill closed. We had the pinup club there over Jackson Point. We had issues galore. And all through that time, Clay was here with his steady hand. So we have a couple of presentations that we want to take care of. And the first one I want to give you here is from the Wisconsin Towns Association. Certificate of Recognition, Clayton Montez. This will certify that Clayton Montez served on the town board of the town of East Troy and Walworth County for 28 years, and also served on the TAC executive board at the town advocacy committee for 22 years with diligence, honesty, and integrity. And so I'm an executive director for today's meeting. And he also said that we're going to miss you too. I have another one here. One here from the town of East Troy. The words that we kind of came up with here, really, Barb and I after the meeting. Present to Clayton Montez in sincere appreciation and gratitude for the compassion, guidance, and outstanding service you have provided to the town of East Troy at the county, state, and national levels of government for the last 28 years. You made a difference. Town of East Troy, 2021. And Sarah, yes, we'd like to do that now. Would that be a good time?
Yep, that'd be fine.
What is yours?
My fellow representatives, Clayton, maybe if we, well, we can work our way up there.
Hey, come on here.
All right.
Come on your path.
And be in the pit.
Okay.
Yeah, we've appreciated your service. Clayton and I go back quite a ways.
When I first started on the
Norwood
board.
County Towns Association, met his wife tonight, it takes a supportive family, of course, to do everything as we know, and, you mentioned she hasn't come to the town board meetings, and I jokingly said, well, at least now you know he really does serve. And I've always said, not just for generally people in your position, but also, I was at the Eagle Scout Award yesterday, and there are other opportunities. There are people that were, like yourself, that were born with a special opportunity, and that's the opportunity to make a difference, and you certainly have made a difference in all your years of service to the community, the town board, and elsewhere too, so appreciate that, gentlemen. Is there anything you do want to?
No, I would just, congratulations on 28 great years, Clay. I know when, about 8 years ago, when I was fortunate enough to absorb the East Troy area into the district that I was already representing, you were one of the first people that I reached out to and gave me the lay of the land, and appreciate all the work that you've done for the town of East Troy. And I know the Towns Association appreciates all the work that you've done with the Walworth County unit, chairing that for quite a number of years as well, to hold that together. And I don't know what you're gonna do with all your spare time now, cause I know how much time you spent doing this, but I'm sure your wife's gonna be happy to put you to work, so, 28 years, that's a long time, so, it's, I'm sure it's been well appreciated by everybody that lives in the town of East Troy, and we're just, really proud to have been able to work with you for all these years.
Thank you very much.
I would like to say, representing at the local level, throughout the state and around the country, and, locally in, the 83rd Assembly District, I see a lot of elected officials get out after a few or a handful of years, and they get out and they're out for good. I got a feeling that your phone's gonna ring because of the institutional knowledge, and people are gonna be saying, what do we do with this, what do we do with that? And so I don't think you're going anywhere too far.
I haven't given up on the Towns Association yet. They've got, there's, other side committees where they need help, and, I'll be there.
Very much appreciated for your long service. Well done.
Thank you.
When we prepared this, there are things that I did not know about Clayton, so it's very interesting. And the other thing, when we leave, it's pretty much goodbye. But I did see on the agenda tonight, in part, a park shelter is gonna be named for you, so. Yeah, so you're gonna get more than we'll ever get.
But you will hear from me still.
Okay, very good. Well, we prepared a citation, and these are not done willy-nilly. We have rules that we must follow when we do citations, and those who receive them have to earn it, and Clayton has earned it. Whereas Clayton Montez served the Marquette University Police Department for 33 years, and whereas Clayton began service to local government in 1993 and was elected to the office of East Troy Town Board Supervisor in that year. And whereas Clayton's role as Town Board Supervisor is carried on to the present day, with the exception of his term as Town Chairman from 1996 to 2003. And whereas Clayton serves on the Executive Committee of the Town's Advocacy Council and has chaired the Walworth County unit of the Wisconsin Towns Association since 1998. And whereas Clayton has engaged in committee action at local, county, state, and national levels to advance multiple projects, including the establishment of the town of East Troy's first land use plan and comprehensive plan, as well as Walworth County Nature Park. And whereas Clayton is the holder of 2 master's degrees, one in transpersonal psychology from Atlantic University and the other in public service at Marquette University. And whereas Clayton brought with him a high level of standards, expectations, and professionalism, which has been demonstrated throughout his career in public service. And whereas for nearly 3 decades, Clayton has served as a tireless advocate for the important issues concerning town government before the Wisconsin State Legislature. Now therefore, the members of the Wisconsin State Legislature, on the motion of Senator Steve Nass and Representatives Tyler August, Cody Burlacher, and Chuck Winters. Do honor Town of East Troy Supervisor Clayton Montez for his decades of dedicated service to the community on the occasion of his impending retirement from the Town of East Troy Town Board. Congratulations.
Bob Miller, past chairman, actually, you were supervisor and chairman also.
Yeah.
Say a few words.
I served with Clay for many years, as a matter of fact, when he first came on the board. And I was the senior, but I learned an awful lot from the junior supervisor and then to be chairman. I've never met anyone more dedicated to this job than Clay. The work ethic was off the charts. The Towns Association was so well served by this man, I can't believe it, as was the town. And again, the honors that he's receiving tonight are nowhere near what he should be receiving. Thank you, Clay.
Thank you, Bob. I'll let y'all in a little secret here. I blame this all on my Newfoundlands. They're terrible slow walkers. You can watch the grass grow while you're walking. I got to know my neighbors really well. And when the issue rose up about the local boat launch, everybody got concerned. They said about the high traffic and the noise and it's unsafe for the kids, whatever. I just happened to get a postcard from our 83rd District Assemblywoman at the time, Maxine Huff. And the postcard asked for people to attend a meeting in McGonigal for town or lake issues. I couldn't go to that meeting, so I wrote her a letter. I think it was about maybe 7 pages, everything all my neighbors were telling me. And she gave the letter to the town board at the time. And I didn't even know we had a town board. I didn't know anything about local government. But my neighbor took me to the town meeting and I read my letter. And then as government works, you have to come back another month to read it again, so that's what I did. And after the meeting, the town chairman said, would you like to run for the town board? I said, I don't even know what a town board is. And well, I did. I put my name in and I made it, and I stuck with it this long. So thank you all again. I'm very humbled and pleased to be here. It's tremendous. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
We have 3 chairs up here now, if somebody's standing back there, we have 3 or 4 chairs, if you wanna get a real chair. Sit up here. Okay, minutes of previous session, special meeting minutes and planning commission meeting minutes. I have no marks. I have no marks for the February 8th board meeting, nor for the February 3rd plan commission. So, do you have any changes?
We approved the February 8th board meeting as presented.
I'll second.
All right, on the minutes for the February 8th meeting, we have a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And then Barbie, February 3rd, plan commission.
Right. I have no changes to the Town of East Troy Planning Commission meeting minutes for February third. These were passed unanimously at the, March third meeting as well, unanimously. So I move that we, pass the Town of East Troy Planning Commission meeting minutes for February third as written.
Second. All right, motion and a second, to approve the plan commission meeting minutes from February third, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Okay, Kim, there is no more meeting minutes, right?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report for February 2021. Total receipts were $40,471.50. Transfers were $280,937.50. Interest earned was $5.19. Balance as of January 31st was $11,002.85. Total funds for February were $332,417.04. Checks paid in February were $301,567.73, leaving a balance of $30,849.31. Boat launch to date was $330.
Any questions?
I move that we approve the Town of East Troy Treasurer's report for the month of February 2021 as read.
A second.
Okay, motion second, approve the treasurer's report as read, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, motion carried. Okay, and then you have a designated funds, 2020 interest transfer.
Attached to your treasurer's report, there's three spreadsheets, but in 2020, the regular designated funds earned $320.29 in interest. The LGIP number 6 designated funds earned a total, interest of $1,255.37. My recommendation would be to transfer both those two amounts of interest to the employee benefits section. Because our Mr. Tallmeyer will be retiring this year and we need money.
I make a motion that we transfer the overages for interest for the designated funds, which was $320.29, as well as the LGIP number 6 designated funds in the interest in the amount of $1,255.37 to the employee benefits fund for Mr. Spallmeyer's retirement.
Second. We have a motion and a second for that transfer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Anything else?
That would be it.
Any public comments? Anything on the agenda, please comment now. If it's not on the agenda, you can speak now, but, if it's not noticed, we can't take any action on it. The town board does have the right to allow, additional public input if we vote on it when the actual item is being discussed. So, public comments. This was John.
John Jacoby texted me, and he wasn't able to get here quite yet, but he wanted to have me relay his mission statement to the board, and here's what he's had to say. Town of East Troy mission is to preserve the safety and wellness of its natural resources, properties, businesses, and people, and to serve the community with fiscal responsibility, integrity, and professionalism. The vision. The town of East Troy believes in its citizens are entitled to safe, healthy, prosperous lifestyles in a purposefully rural setting. And the values. The town of East Troy values neighboring relationships, intelligent growth, thought, planning, and frugal spending throughout careful decision making and community feedback.
He did send us an email on that too, so.
Yeah, he said if he didn't make it here in time to say it, to relate to you guys.
Okay, very good, thank you. Public comments? Yeah.
Michelle Reyes from Bell School Road. I guess I would just maybe suggest, I know Supervisor Church deleted section 10A on the agenda. And I'm just wondering if section B should also be delayed until we have the new 4 to 5 representatives as opposed to the current 3, depending on the prioritization of that activity.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen with that, it's gonna end up, on the, annual meeting agenda for public input and possibly even voting at that time. I think it's a good place to do it. We did get, feedback that Frank Schirkenbach did something,
I've gotten a few replies
That's
too,
okay.
it was on the website and,
Yeah,
yeah.
there have been 3.
yeah, and that's probably the way to go.
Okay.
It looks good. Public comments? Barb?
Yeah, I was contacted by Mark Wertz, who is the principal at Prairie View Elementary School, who urged me to remind citizens that the East Troy Community School District would have 2 questions two referenda questions on the April 6th, 2021 ballot. The first question would be an operational referendum, and the second question would be a capital bond referendum. The combined questions would have a tax impact of $94 per $100,000 of assessed property value. For more information, the voters are encouraged to go to www.easttroy.ky.us/district/referendum.cfm for answers to any frequently asked questions.
Alright, and, again, the school does have the active website just for the referendum. There was also in the newspapers, the announcements about the, Zoom kind of meeting they're gonna have with, questions and answers. They're gonna consolidate the questions into a 2-hour, here's the question, here's the answer. So, that's a good thing to get into also. Alright, public comments? Anyone? Back? No? Public comments? Good? Okay. Alright, report committees, chairperson's report. I'm still meeting, with the Tri-Trade group every 2 weeks. We're currently, working on, the Tri-Trade library as well as other common issues. We're gonna have a joint meeting of the tree boards coming up next week. It's my turn to run it, so Kim will be doing the, agenda on that. We'll get to that when we talk about the meetings down below. I'm also meeting, monthly. The Tri-Trade group is meeting with the library boards and the heritage boards, discussing, the possibility of that joint venture, so to speak, where, the heritage would actually build a library and the 2 communities that we're in. Still in preliminary stages, having fun with it so far. I attended a meeting at the county last week in regards to local junkyards. And then I put on the table in the back a spreadsheet called Town of East Troy Roads. That's really at last month's meeting. I was researching the records, and I got a good start on it. You see the first page that I presented here basically shows the date the action took place, how it took place. Back in the old days, it was by high order. But one draw your attention to was November 4th of 1844. That's when Town Line Road actually became a town road. And I gotta remember, Wisconsin was a territory from 1836 to 1848, so before it was even a state, Town Line Road became a town road. And what happened there, the commissioner of highways for East Troy and the commissioner of highways for Troy, even though Wisconsin was not a state and there was no counties yet, they still called it East Troy and Troy. That's still the case. And then after statehood, when the first maps came out, when they divided Walworth County, Troy and East Troy were one township, one government. So that, of course, split. But at the time, in 1844, the commissioner of highways for East Troy were Stephen Field and John Sprague Jr. And for Troy, it was Isaac Whiting and Adolphus Spoor. Pretty interesting. I'm continuing with this. I actually have about ready for another page, but it's, it goes back, a lot of these roads were created before Wisconsin was even a state.